Before this video starts, it's blatantly obvious it's better than Mario Kart World since it doesn't have straight level design. I mean, look, you have turns in every single stage. The reason why I made this video is I don't like IGN, and clearly I don't think this game is a 9 out of 10. This game has really obvious issues, where if you compare it to the cheaper, better version, which is Transformed, which is what this game is inspired by, if you like this game, I recommend the cheaper version of it, or if you play the cheaper version of it, I recommend playing the demo until the game gets cheaper. Where I'm gonna mention the first issue, they have oversimplified stunts way too much. Because in Transformed, you had to time your stunts. You can't just press random buttons and get your boost. With this game, there is zero timing in air stunts. You could press random buttons and the character voice lines will constantly reward you pressing one button with zero timing whatsoever. And also, some of the English voice actors are just god-awful. You can't convince me they're good. And plus, even if they're good, I mean, they're repeating the same line over and over again, pressing one button with a stunt, where thank God the options exist to turn off the voice acting. I can read the rival dialogue, or I could voice act it myself, so essentially, I don't need to know these insults because there's no plot in this game. Like, yeah, there is gadgets to change, like the air stunt, you can make it quicker, but some of the jumps are so big, you don't need it that quickly, and getting rings, but you can get rings constantly throughout the entire stage, where using it is questionable. If you're really desperate for rings, maybe it could be useful, but still, this is generally ruining the stun system from Transformed, where I don't know why they decide not to do timing at all, and just reward you with the angle stuff for no reason, even though you put no effort into it, or the voice actors repeating the same line, perfect, good night jamming, you know, just really ridiculous stuff. Where if it wasn't for the options to turn off the voice acting, this would have been a bigger problem. The second issue is they have oversimplified aeroplanes way too much. I am happy the aeroplanes are back, but we don't have the near miss bursts. Where that was like the best part of Transformed is literally the aeroplane sections being the most challenging to use, where you have to use near stunt boosts in the aeroplane to flat out do well and combine that with drifting. With Crossworlds, you can drift upwards and downwards. That is the only difference they do in this game. They have oversimplified it way too much. Well, at least I don't have issues with the boats, because I did say in Transform the boats needed nerfed. They are too OP, so I'm glad that they nerfed the boats in Crossworlds, so that's something. But the airplanes, it's way too far and way too oversimplified. The third issue, and this is a minor issue, is we don't need a second visual cue to tell which level boost we're in. We can tell with the sound effects or the boost color. Because in Transformed, you only needed one visual cue, which is the boost color itself. Having this second visual for a boost is just ridiculous, and I feel like they purposely did this because IGN does not know how to play a Sonic game. And this is the other minuscule thing, we don't need to see the kilometers we're going, because this is an inspired go-kart game. In the hoverboards, there is no way to tell which kilometers you're going because it's a hoverboard. I do understand it's possible to remove that, but the problem is it removes the rings, and due to this being also inspired by Mario Kart 8, you need to know how many rings you're at to see if you want to continue collecting rings or not. Since in this game, you need to take shortcuts, especially in online, just to get to 3rd, 5th, or 1st place. The other issue is some of the music tracks in these racetracks are purposely terrible for a reason. They aren't trying to make a good track in them. They were purposely shoved in a terrible chant singer to force you to use a jukebox or just to play time trial to unlock the tracks, because they had zero faith in the soundtrack. With Frontiers, I could let it slide because Frontiers added that later. In the release date, you literally dealt with only its music and that's it. But this game, it's literally at release date that you literally have a jukebox to replace the 3rd and 2nd laps, which is usually the worst part of the music. Where if I want to listen to a different Sonic music track, I would have the music muted so I can just flat out go on YouTube and do that. The other issue is online mode. The only thing you could do in online mode is race at the moment. I understand they figure out their issue because they're trying to do different game modes in the festival, where thank God, or else this would have been a huger issue. because I think team mode online matches for this game will be better, because the problem with normal races is if you do this setup, you'll win almost all the time or get 3rd or 4th place almost all the time. You are invincible with everything in this setup. Where it's like, yes, the gadgets is a cool idea, but did anyone play test this? You are invincible with every attack item with this setup, where what's the point of attack items or flat-out defensive items if you can iframe through it? Like, yes, I understand that the level 4 chart takes a while, but there's a literal setup I showed you that you can get level 4s almost constantly, and in lap 2, you're just invincible throughout the entire lap if you get unlucky with a frenzy where you flat-out can charge a drift even quicker. Where online balancing is a flat-out mess. With single player, I can let it slide, because who cares? Single player is supposed to be fun, but online is where people take this minuscule issues this seriously, because this strat makes you unbeatable. Where there's only 2 choices I think they can do. It's 1, disable ultimate charge, or 2, flat out make the slots more sense. Like level 2 charge should take 2 slots, not 1, and the ultimate charge should take 3 slots, not 2. Because this game has a ranking system, and if I got legend with almost no issues with his setup except boredom because it was taking a while, then you have a serious online balancing issue. Since the whole point of this ranking system is it's supposed to be getting more and more difficult because you're facing more competent players or people that know what they're doing, and so far this entire strat, you just bypass the entire level design and attack system. Yes, I'm mentioning level design as well because these levels have hazards, and you could just bypass it not losing any speed with the gadget setup I showed you. Like, not being able to voice chat to people in online, understandable, it's a kid's game, you don't want a Call of Duty lobby. But if you're gonna allow unbalanced stuff such as this, where you're allowed to bypass hazards or the level design or ruin your item box's usefulness, then online mode is gonna die really quickly, because I feel like I'm playing a time trial doing this, because not a single attack item is affecting me, not an inspired Mario Kart game. The other issue, I don't really care about this because I'm on PC, is the graphics in this game, some of it looks god-awful, and I'm actually surprised this is passable for 2025 for $100. Where this would not be this massive an issue if the game is not this expensive, because it should be cheaper if the graphics are gonna be reused assets or god-awful animations, or the worst one, 2D chows. Why do we have 3D chows in this game that you could reuse with no problem, yet using 2D chows? It makes no sense. This is Unreal Engine 5. Like, I have tried to make this game look better. I literally shoved so much goddamn stuff in Reshade, hoping it looks better, where it makes it less of an issue, but if you're on console, you're screwed for graphics and stuff like that, because some parts on this game looks terrible. Literally, I can't fix it at the moment, because some animations are god-awful, and some of the chows, why are they 2D? This is a game in 2025 costing this much, and you're doing graphic mistakes like this. 2D sprites should be only used far away, not this close at you. And especially in the start of a race where you're moving 0 kilometers per hour. Like, it should be far away or nowhere near at the starting area. And the other issue is, why do we have a rival system? Why are we only allowed to make 1 AI driver more difficult, but not 11? I understand online is supposed to fix this, but again, this gadget setup is broken. It ruins online balancing in this game, where they seriously need to fix this for online. So I'm gonna have an issue with a rival system since online balancing is completely ruined. Since I'm gonna say this right now, the AI in this game is terrible. It flat out cheats. The higher difficulty you're doing, it's basically rubber banding at first place. You can't catch up to it, where the only way to slow it down is to attack it. How the rival system works is you're dealing with 1 player at max difficulty. If you set up in max difficulty, the AI will cheat, where you're in 2nd place dealing with 10 AI opponents, where the main challenge with the rival system is dealing with 10 AI opponents longer, since you're trying to get an attack item to slow down the first player, which is a rival. But I'm gonna get to the final point. The cosmetic system in this game is a flat-out mess. If it wasn't for 200cc, as in supersonic speed, you will have zero reason to change the strat of the hoverboard. Since if it wasn't for 200cc, then essentially all the other vehicle types will almost have no use except the power type and the hoverboard type. Because the vehicle types is this: hoverboard is the best for online and the best for 150cc. Handling is the best for 200cc. Speed is the best for time trials, I guess. It's a maybe though, because the only increase for it is a 10 kilometers, because the stat system in this game is questionable, and acceleration is completely useless. I don't know why they even have an acceleration type. And power is flat out a lifesaver online and in single player debatably, since you can tank a bunch of hits. And now I'm gonna end the video here. So in conclusion, this game is way too overpriced. It's low budget. It has flat out major issues, especially online, where I think the game has good ideas. It's a decent game at most, where I rank it at the lowest compared to other people. But it's not 9 out of 10. It's not 10 out of 10. It's not the best racing game of all time. It is literally a Mario Kart inspired game, inspired by Sonic Transformed, and it's just a worse version of Sonic Transformed.